I am about to break up with my boyfriend because he bought a car tire. And I don't think I'm being dramatic about it at all. It is important to note that there's actually a third person involved in this story, of course. And that is my boyfriend's best female friend, who, let me tell you, somehow cannot seem to do anything for herself because anytime she faces any minor inconvenience, she calls my boyfriend. A few nights ago, I was sitting on the couch with my boyfriend when he gets a frantic phone call from this girl, and she is devastated, in tears, like hyperventilating. And I am like very concerned. Like, what is wrong? She sounds like something horrible is happening. Turns out that she ran over a nail on the road. And it's not even like she was stranded anywhere. She made it home. She was sitting in her living room just crying about that there was a nail in her tire. Okay, like, yeah, it sucks, but like, not really the end of the world. So my boyfriend, being the hero that he is, rushes over to her rescue. He said it was to see if the tire was salvageable. It's not. There's a nail in the tire. She's gonna have to get a new tire. Like, what are you going there to do for her? He was over there for a very long time. He comes back a few hours later and he's talking about how brave she was being. She's being so brave. So brave. She's being so brave. And that, you know, he figured it out and he took care of it. Thank God. Thank God that my boyfriend was there to help her out. Because not like she's AAA or anything. She does have AAA. She could have called AAA. Something to know about me is that I have a rainy day fund. And anytime I have a little bit extra money or I get money for a gift, I put it into my rainy day fund. And that's literally just like if I want to go on vacation or do something special for myself, I'll dip into my fund. So obviously, you know, this whole situation, it stressed me out a little bit. And I decided that I deserved a massage. So I go to my bedside table and I grab the envelope that is supposed to have my rainy day fund money, except there was no money in there. Nothing. Like, not a single dollar. So I'm digging through my bedside table because there's no way there's a thief among us. There's not a thief in my household, okay? This rainy day fund has been there forever. Like, my friends know I have it, my boyfriend knows I have it, and no one's ever touched it before, so just really weird. Like, it didn't even cross my mind that somebody could have stolen the money just because, you know, maybe I expected the best. Wrong. That was wrong with me. So I rush out to the living room and I'm in tears. I mean, like, obviously, a ton of my money is just gone. And I run out to my boyfriend and I'm like, oh my gosh, have you seen my rainy day fund? And he goes, as a matter of fact, I have seen it. This man looks me dead in the eyes and tells me that he went into my bedside table, took out all of my rainy day fund, and used it to buy his best girlfriend a new car tire. So obviously, like, my first question is, why didn't you ask me if you could borrow the money or take the money or whatever he was planning on doing? And why didn't you tell me? And he was like, well, first, it was just an emergency. Like, she really needed a new tire because she needs her car to get to work and she didn't have the funds to get it. First of all, I see that girl's Instagram. She is out like 4 times a week. So if she doesn't have funds to get a new tire, it's because she doesn't budget. Like, okay, you cannot be going out 4 times a week and then being like, can't afford a new tire. And then he says, you know, you didn't actually need that money anyway. That's why it's a rainy day fund. It just made more sense to me. I thought it was the right thing to do to give it to her since, you know, she could like use that money for something she really needed. So, whose money though? Not her money, not your money. My money. My money. It doesn't matter what I was planning on using it for. You can't just go, you stole my money. Now you may be wondering, why didn't my boyfriend just pay for the tire himself? It's because he bought a new Xbox. So he didn't have the income because he used his rainy day fund. I can't. I really need that massage now, but I can't get one. So then obviously I ask, well, when am I going to get paid back? And he looks at me dumbfounded and he's like, paid back? What do you mean paid back? Oh my God, that's all you can think about? You are so selfish. I'm selfish? It's my money. It's not even like that girl's nice to me either. She is so rude to me every time she sees me. So it's like, I just don't understand. Like, I'm in the wrong. I'm the bad guy here. You stole my money. I truly never would have guessed that a car tire would be the catalyst to the end of my relationship, but, you know, always expect the unexpected, and even though I kicked him out, don't worry, he has a place to stay because his best girlfriend has been so accommodating of him.
Am I the asshole for telling my ex that it's not my responsibility to help her? I, 31 male, have a set of twins. Violet, 16 female, and Onyx, 16 male, with my ex, Trisha, 31 female. We were the definition of trailer trash. We were addicted to hard substances and dropped out of high school. Her parents had 8 kids in a 4-bedroom trailer, so we couldn't live with them, so we lived with my mom. There was domestic violence on both ends, but because I was 6'5", I was always the problem. Damn, that's a big man. 6'5", I'm 6 feet, and anybody that I have to look at, that's a whole lot of man. 2 years after our kids were born, Trisha called the cops on me when we were both high and drunk. They found hard substances on me, and I got locked up for 6 years. Trisha moved on immediately with the guy from the trailer park. Her boyfriend didn't want the twins with them, so they stayed with my mom. I'm so glad that she wasn't vindictive and she brought the kids to see me every Friday. During my time in prison, I got clean for my kids. I also got my GED and my associate's degree. I read a lot of science books and I fell in love with physics. So once I got out, my mom helped me out while I finished my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. Good shit. Good shit. I am so proud of you. If no one else has told you, I am so proud of you. I moved my mom and kids out of the trailer park and into a nice house in the suburbs once I had a decent job. My ex took the kids 1 week a month, even though her now husband still didn't like my kids. Fast forward to now, I bought my kids cars. My son took his when he visited his mother. The next day, my ex called me demanding I help her with her kids. She explained that they're struggling and her husband's oldest daughter is now complaining about not having a car. What the fuck that got to do with me? I'm sorry, baby. Not you got me I'm waking up the baby. What the fuck that got to do with me? You better give her some bus tokens. I told my ex that she's not my responsibility and neither are her kids. She said that she'll cut my kids off if I don't give her what she wants. Bitch, bye? They're better off without you any fucking way. These kids are 16 years old. They know you ain't worth the fucking ground that you walk on. I explained that I don't care and she'll be better out of our lives. Later, my kids told me about a text they got from their stepsister saying they're being horrible siblings. Their mom sent them a text asking if they could sell their cars. And when they said no, she flipped out saying she was going no contact and that she didn't raise them to be greedy brats. Bitch, you didn't raise them. Their grandmother did. And then when their daddy got out of jail, they daddy did. Not you trying to take credit for some shit you didn't even do. Bitch, plagiarism is illegal. You can't do that. And if it ain't, it needs to be. My son replied with laughing emojis, while my daughter replied with raised question mark, question mark, question mark. She texted me some more junk saying that if they starve to death, it's my fault. My ex is a horrible person, but her kids didn't do anything. Should I give them some money? Hell no. Absolutely the fuck not. You better not give them shit. Kids got a daddy. No, you will not give them no motherfucking money. They have a dad who don't like your kids. Why should you do for his kids what the fuck he would never do for yours? Absolutely the hell not. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that her kids didn't do anything. Those are not your children. You have literally had to build yourself from the ground up by yourself just for this bitch to want to run in and reap the benefits of all of your work. Hell no. Fuck her and them goddamn spoiled ass entitled ass kids.
My boyfriend uninvited me from his sister's wedding so that he could bring his girl best friend. But I'm going anyway. For starters, I love my boyfriend's family. I do not love his girl best friend. My boyfriend's been friends with this girl since childhood, and he admits that for years he was in love with her. But she just kept leading him on. She would flirt with him, say things like, oh, but like, could you ever imagine if we were together? Maybe that would be amazing. Making marriage pacts, things like that. But then she would always get a boyfriend and friend zone him. And this cycle of flirting with him when she was single and acting like they were just friends when she had a boyfriend continued all the way into college until he met me. Now, I've only met his girl best friend a few times because she lives in a different state than us, but every time has been far less than enjoyable. The girl is awful. And she thinks everything between us is a competition. Who knows him best? Who would be a better wife? Who would be a better what? Like, why? That's so weird. But for some reason, it always comes back to who's closer with his family. And she always talks about how his mom is like a second mom to her, and she just really feels like she's a part of their family. Okay. Cool flex. Like, don't know what to tell you about that one. About a week ago, my boyfriend's sister's wedding invitation came in the mail, and it was addressed to him, but included a +1. Obviously, that +1 was meant for me. Like, we've been dating for years. It was just assumed. Or so I thought. Now, the first few days after getting the invitation, he was talking to me about plans, plane flights to go to the wedding, things like that. But after a few days, he stopped mentioning the wedding. And if I brought it up, he would change the subject. So 2 days ago, I get home, and my boyfriend's in the bedroom, on the phone, on speaker with somebody. And I would know that nasally, whiny little voice anywhere. It was his girl best friend. And she was talking about what she should wear to the wedding, which I didn't think was weird. She always talks about how close she is to his family, so obviously she'd be invited, right? So I walk into the bedroom and say hi to his girl best friend on the phone, and he looks startled, which is weird because I've said hi to her on speaker before and he didn't seem to have a problem with it. And I tell her that I look forward to seeing her at the wedding, which is a lie, but I'm nice, okay? I'm trying to be nice. Tell me why this girl says, "Oh, I'm so glad you got an individual invitation. I was starting to feel a little bad about taking your +1. Taking my +1? Who's taking my +1? So my boyfriend really quickly tells this girl that he has to go. And I'm like, yeah, you better hang up the phone because you have some explaining to do. And I stand there, my arms crossed, and I'm like, okay, what is she talking about? And he tells me that she didn't receive an invitation to the wedding. Shocking, considering how close she says. Like, part of the family. That's what she said. And he said that she called him distraught, saying that it would mean everything to her to go to this wedding and to celebrate with the people that she loved the most. People that you love the most. You didn't get invited to the wedding. So I tell him, I'm like, I think that that's really strange to make your +1 not your girlfriend at your immediate family's wedding. And he was like, they've known her forever. I don't think it'd be that weird. And I was like, well, she didn't get invited. So, and he has the nerve to go, well, neither did you. I'm floored, honestly. The fact that he said that, I was like, yes, I was invited. That +1 was meant for me. I've literally talked to your sister about her wedding multiple times. That +1, just because it didn't have my name on it, did not mean that it wasn't meant for me. And he said, well, you know what? Your name isn't on it. I can choose who I want as my +1, and I'm taking my friend. So I storm out, go to my best friend's place, and proceed to just cry and tell her what happened. Honestly, I was just feeling so embarrassed. I know I shouldn't feel embarrassed, but it's just like, how could you not even want me there? But that is when I got an unexpected call from my boyfriend's sister. She told me that my boyfriend just called her to tell her the situation, and she was livid. She said that clearly the +1 in that invitation was me. She apologized. She was like, I was just trying to save some customization costs, but if I would have known he was going to pull this, I should have just put your name on it. Like, that was clearly intended for you. I'm so sorry if it came across that I didn't want you at my wedding or that you weren't invited. You're 100% invited. I want you there. The best part, though, is she starts talking about my boyfriend's girl best friend. And she says, there's absolutely no way I'm letting that little leech at my wedding. My boyfriend's sister goes on to tell me that his entire family despises this girl because she led on my boyfriend for years, is rude, selfish, ungrateful. Every time she was over at their house, she would leave a mess, never clean it up. Basically, she said that she was just not a nice girl, and it was intentional that she didn't get an invitation to the wedding. So even though his girl best friend was saying that, she was like family to that was a lie. They don't talk. She tries to reach out apparently, and they all ignore her. Then she tells me that she has revoked her brother's +1 and will be mailing me my individual invitation. She even told me that even if I make the decision to dump my boyfriend over this, she would still love to have me at the wedding because she feels like I've become part of the family at this point. I'm part of the family. Oh, how the tables have turned. So I know for a fact that I'm going to be at that wedding. Now, will I be attending with my boyfriend or not? That's to be decided.
Am I the asshole for getting my daughter her own room? I, 38 male, married my wife Eliza, 36 female, 2 years ago. I have one daughter from a previous relationship, Tasha, 16. And Eliza has two daughters, Kaylee, 16, and Kenzie, 17. Me and my wife have had full custody of the kids since their other parents aren't in the picture. From the start, I noticed Kaylee and Kenzie didn't like Tasha, but I assumed it was because the situation was new. It's important to mention that my daughter is half black and could pass for full black. I'm fully white, and so is my current wife and her children. Okay. So my daughter needs specific and expensive hair products that range from $20 to $30. My wife complained that I was spending too much, and her daughters believed it was unfair that I paid so much for her hair. Okay. I shut it down immediately and explained that her hair products are a necessity. That night, the girls made a comment about Tasha having horsehair weave and that white girls didn't need that. Okay. Wait, first of all, it is 2023. I thought we stopped making that joke in the early 2000s. Like, first of all, bitch, if you're gonna try to hurt my feelings, you gotta come with new material. I've never heard Tasha get so upset, and by the time me and my wife made it to the girls' room, Kenzie was laid on the floor with a broken nose, while Tasha had Kaylee by her hair, punching her repeatedly. Wait. Okay, so I was about to lie and say I don't condone violence. Fuck that. Beat they ass, Tasha. Whoop they ass. Because, bitch, you can keep being slick about your mouth. You better be ready to take a punch. Like, bitch, I hope your face can catch a fist. My wife was able to pull Kaylee away and was visibly upset with Tasha and yelled. I told her not to yell at my child and explained that if anything like this ever happened again, her daughters will be sent to live with their dad. This house was mine before they moved in, and the girls didn't like living with their dad because he's an alcoholic. So ever since then, I haven't seen anything happen. That was 2 years ago, and the girls did really well in school this year, and we decided that a vacation was well-deserved for each. So everyone put the name of the place that they wanted to go, and Japan, Tasha's choice, was pulled. The other girls complained because they wanted to go to Greece, but their mother told them to shut it. I think they harbored some resentment to Tasha because of the location. I got 2 bedrooms, one with the queen-size bed and one with 2 beds and a couch for the girls. We ended up getting in late, so instead of doing any sightseeing, we just walked the streets of Tokyo. Kaylee and Kenzie were talking about a cute guy, and he walked over, so they assumed he wanted to talk to them. But instead, he wanted to talk to Tasha. He complimented her and her huge bouncy afro and her style. It's a Y2K style, and asked for a picture. That's how it was for the rest of the night. She was like a celebrity. It was honestly amazing. We get to the hotel rooms, and right before we get ready for bed, I get a call from Tasha, who was upset, saying that she had nowhere to sleep. Their room was right next door, so I go over and look at the 2 girls protecting each bed. I ask what's the problem. Tasha explains that she doesn't even care about a bed and was willing to take the couch, but the girls wouldn't move their stuff so that she could sleep. I asked them to move their stuff, and they asked me where they're gonna put it. Bitch, the floor. On the fucking floor. Or in the goddamn bed with you, or hear me out, the goddamn closet. Options, look at you, pick one. Fucking pick one. I explained that we were here for a week and to place them in the drawers and closets. They tell me no, so I call my wife and she says, just tell Tasha to put some covers on the floor to sleep. Oh, bitch. The way I would have left them in Tokyo, the way I would have packed my daughter up and left these bitches in Tokyo and shipped all they shit to the girl's daddy's house. No, because sir, you're an asshole for allowing your daughter to be treated this way. What are you doing? Why are you allowing them to treat your baby like this? Why? The coochie can't be that good. I hang up and leave and come back with the key for Tasha. They realized that I got her a room, and Kenzie was upset because she's the oldest. Bitch, you're the oldest, yet you're acting like a fucking toddler. You can't move your clothes so the girls can sleep on the motherfucking couch. You won't sleep in the bed with your sister so the bitch can sleep in the fucking bed. Yet you have the nerve and audacity to want to whine because you're not getting your own room? Are you kidding? Where the fuck was she supposed to sleep? In the goddamn tub? Like, no. That little bitch needs to get over herself. Why you didn't send them in the room with their mama? These girls are too fucking old to be acting like this. Hell no. I told her to get over herself. By the time I walked Tasha to her room and got back, my wife yelled at me for playing favorites. I said I wasn't going to have Tasha sleeping on the floor. She called Tasha a brat for causing problems with the vacation and family like she always does. I asked her what that was supposed to mean. She sighed in frustration and said forget it, but sleeping on the floor wouldn't hurt nobody, and Tasha needs to stop acting like a brat. I told her if she believes it's no big deal, why won't she sleep on the floor tonight then? I laid diagonally, taking up the entire bed, and she began yelling at me that I couldn't be serious. I told her to stop acting like a brat. When she realized that I wasn't moving, she left to the girls' room and slept there. I don't feel bad about getting Tasha her own room, but maybe I could have talked to my wife better. Am I the asshole? Okay, so I'm going to answer your question. No, you're not the asshole for getting your daughter her own room. Dad win all around for that because who the fuck wouldn't have? I'm not about to fight with you little bitches. Y'all want to be stupid? I'm going to get my baby her own room. Now we ain't got to worry about the fight no more at all. That you're a win for that one. But, and a big but, you are absolutely the asshole for pretending that you do not know that your wife and her daughters are racist. Like, I don't understand why you're allowing your daughter to be mistreated in her home. You said that house is yours. They moved into your house. That is her home. And you are allowing her to be mistreated and abused in the one place we are supposed to be safe from that shit. At home, that is our safe zone. And she doesn't even have one. You are a massive asshole for making her go through this. I hope you're able to fix this before she ages out and leaves you and never comes back. Your daughter is still being mistreated by her step siblings and her stepmom. This is a clear example that they are finding ways to mistreat your daughter that's not as obvious as the comments that they were making before so that you don't notice it. It's still fucking happening and you're letting it happen. I need you to do better. Do better.
My boyfriend has a work wife and I hate it. My boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years, but 3 of those have been long distance. I know. And I've never had a reason not to trust him. And all of that time being apart, he's a pretty trustworthy guy. He's always honest with me. I've never caught him in a lie. In all that time we were apart, I've never gotten a little hey girly message on Instagram. So I thought everything was fine until 3 months ago. Now, if I am 2 things, it's a yapper and nosy. So when we have our cute little nightly FaceTime calls, I tell him everything about my day, and I want to know everything about his day. Now, he's been working at his company for about 2 years, and his work wife, let's call her Lisa, has been working there for 5 years. They work in the same department, which is pretty small, so they've obviously known each other for quite a while. So the fact that I had never heard about this woman until 3 months ago, pretty suspicious. So 3 months ago, out of thin air, this woman appears in my boyfriend's life. I mean, like, obviously, she's been there the whole time, so why only now is he talking about her? I don't know. But he's talking about how he's so lucky to have found such a good friend at work, how she's so kind, how the workday is so much more fun with her around. And honestly, I didn't really have an issue with the whole thing because I want him to be happy. I want him to have friends. And again, I've never had a reason not to trust him until he started referring to her as his work wife. The first time my boyfriend used the term work wife to describe Lisa, I was like, whoa, okay, slow down, stop. Okay, let's rewind that back. What are you talking about? Since when have you been referring to this woman as your work wife? He said about 3 months after he started working there, people in his department started to tease them that they would be a really cute couple. They started assigning them to be on projects together so that they would have to get closer and always work together. And it worked. They became really close to the point that Lisa now packs my boyfriend's lunch every day. Crazy I'm finding out about this a year and 7 months later. He says it's really sweet. Apparently every day she asks what he wants for lunch the next day or what he's been craving. And Just like that, it appears the next day for lunch. And when this man tells me about the lunches, I lose. I go off on him. I feel betrayed. I feel like you're cheating on me. And he thinks that that's absolutely crazy. He's like, what are you talking about? She's just my friend. She's being nice. And I was like, tell me how. You tell me everything about your day. Because this man's a yapper too. This man is a yapper. You tell me absolutely everything about your day. From the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. I know about all your other coworkers. But you've just failed to mention this specific one who is making you lunch every day. You're hiding it. You were hiding it from me. He says that absolutely nothing is going on between them, but I told him I've never made lunch for any man that's not my boyfriend or a family member because it's weird. Also, the fact that his whole office was making jokes about how they would look good together. Like, did you not think to tell me that? I get that he didn't want me to feel jealous or something, but like, I'm sorry, when it's gotten to a point where she's making you lunches, maybe you need to tell me, babe. So I've actually pushed up the date that I'm gonna go visit him because I think that I need to meet Lisa. You know, have a little face-to-face girl time, really see what she's about because it doesn't really seem like she's a girl's girl. And if I even have one inkling that my boyfriend's been cheating on me with Lisa for the last 2 years, it's not gonna be good for him.
What was ruined because too many people started doing it. 1. My wife. 2. I live in an apartment complex right next to a university. I'm originally from a more rural area where we frequently had bonfires. My apartment complex has a little fire pit, so I bought some firewood for a taste of home. Every few weeks I had a few people over and we had a small fire. It was cool. Nobody was rowdy, we only burned wood and we always cleaned up after ourselves. My neighbors eventually caught on to the fun and started having their own fires. Over time the fire pit grew in popularity, until someone was having a fire just about every weekend. Trash was being left all over the place, beer bottles were tossed into the ashes and noise became an issue. It escalated to the point that college students were coming over from their dorms, throwing decent-sized parties and even burning furniture. The police were called one too many times, and now the fire pit is filled in.